don't like to leave the peel on the apples. They just bring a little bit more texture and flavor to the whole thing. So we're going to cut our wedges. Squeeze a little bit of lime. And then use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of the brown sugar per apple. So this was 1 apple, so I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to take this to the stove. Okay, so here we have a pan that I'm heating up right now, and I'm trying to heat it up quite hot. We're going to take down the temperature later. Adding our apples with the brown sugar and the little lime. And for flavoring, I'm putting a touch of cinnamon in there, about maybe 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon, depending on how strong you want the flavor. So we're going to toss this around and let it cook down until it becomes the really nice consistency for our apple buns. Really good too, of course. With a touch of the cinnamon. If you want to add other flavors in there too, like vanilla or maybe some nutmeg, you can do so also. But they're very, very tasty. So back again, and now our dough should be ready to be baked out. What I'm also doing right now is that I'm turning on the oven up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Take the dough out. Or flour on the side. This is not included in the recipe, but just keep it on the side in case you need just to find the right consistency. So now we're going to start working the dough. And it's really soft and nice. Look at this. So, and fold it and work it. And fold it and work it. And we're going to continue like this for a while. And as soon as I feel that it starts getting a little bit too sticky, just take a little flour on my hands, keep working it. What you want to be careful with is so it doesn't stick to the table. So sprinkle a little bit so you keep the dough loose and nice on the table. So I'm going to be working this probably for about 4 or 5 minutes more. And what I'm going to do now is to use a rolling pin to work this out. You want to make it into a nice square, or actually it doesn't have to be a square, it can be a rectangular, is nearly better. So here we have our dough. It's pretty evenly thick right now. You can always loosen it a little bit like this just to feel, or if you see that it's too thin on one part and too thick of another, you can also lift the dough just to even it out a little bit more. So now we're going to make our marks so we can start put the filling on and then make our buns. A cup, I'm dipping it into the flour and I'm going to make marks. So here we have our apple filling on top of the dough and marked out. And why I do the mark is just so I know where to put the filling. Because now we're going to take the dough and we're going to fold it over. So you flour your cup and it will be easier. And when you put them on the sheet pan, don't put them too close to each other. So I just took out the last one of this batch. So what you want to do now is to take the leftover dough and work it together like we did before, and then just start over and make another square, and then you can put new filling on and then work it out. Over here I'm covering the buns to raise for about 30 minutes, and now our buns are ready to go into the oven. The oven is now completely warm, and you want to put them in the middle of the oven. And they're going to be baking for about 8 to 10 minutes. But keep an eye, because when they are brown on the bottom and starts coloring on the top, then they're ready to be taken out. So our buns are now ready. I move them over during the time, because sometimes they cook quicker from the bottom and you don't want them to be burnt, or too dark on the bottom. So I move them over to a new tray, just to keep them a little cooler. So what we're going to do now is to finish them up, and how we do that is to have melted butter and the sugar. So it's going to be a little hot, but into the sugar. And there we go. There is the ready result. And now we're going to have to taste, don't you think? Looks inside. Isn't that pretty? The apples. So now I'm going to have a little taste just to see so it came out how I wanted it to. Very tasty. Moist and crisp. Enjoy and bring some for your friends.